Oh, I've learned an awful lot. I'm not an economist. I'm not a political scientist. I'm a theologian and a philosopher. But I do love America, and I did want to understand what's the inner philosophy, what's the inner dynamism of the American system. And you couldn't learn it just from the economists, and you couldn't learn it just from the political scientists. And the humanists seem to spend most of their time doing footnotes on one another, and instead of trying to understand the whole. There was very little trying to understand the whole. If a European or an Asian asked me, what is the American idea? What is the Novus Ordo Seclorum, as is written on the seal of the United States, the new order of the ages? Not very many could help. And so I sat down myself to try to work it out in my own terms. A free society such as I love and would like to see grow here too, is of a creative, dynamic economy, liberating the poor from poverty. My own family among them came here very, very poor 100 years ago. And a republic which protects human rights and the rule of law and allows for the sovereignty of the citizens who, as it were, hire and fire their elected leaders, since you need to have leaders to move forward. We call that democracy now, but the old idea for it, and I think a better idea for it, is a republic. And third, a powerful set of institutions teaching good character and love for the truth and love for honesty and courage and nobility of soul and setting up ideals for our young so that they become disciplined and adults who love their own liberty and are willing to take the responsibilities necessary to be sure that they don't shuck all the burdens off to the state. That's the road to tyranny. It's when free citizens decide to do things for themselves and have a capacity to organize to get things done that you generate free societies. Tocqueville said the first principle of democracy, the first law of democracy, is the principle of association, the ability to join together to get things done. I think that's quite true. I think those ideas are still quite germane and are being cited. People are using the term democratic capitalism everywhere. I was not the first, but practically I was the first to make it popular. And if I had a nickel, if I even had a penny for every time the word is used now, I wouldn't have to worry about my retirement. I think the concept has great utility and helps to shed light in several different directions. I learned to put more emphasis on creativity, that the heart of a capitalist system is not a free market. There have been free markets in history, but not much dynamism. And it's the patented copyright law, the sense that the greatest wealth is not land, which it was for almost all of history, but the greatest wealth is in ideas. It's caput, the old head in Latin, caput. That's where the wealth comes from. And the release of that every human being born is a carrier of capital, and that this capital is of more value than land, more value than machinery, more value than money. I think that's an extraordinarily powerful idea. Not every baby born doesn't consume more, eat more than he or she will create. They're capable of creating a lot more than they're going to consume. That's the secret to progress. So I've learned to think deeper about each one of these elements and see where I was wrong here and where I was wrong there. But I see more and more people picking up the idea and applying it. So I feel blessed that the book had a certain merit in it.